Hey guys, it's Anime OGsan, and it's time for my week 3 review for the spring 2024 anime season. I still stand by the original 6 that I introduced in my preview for the most part, although I made one mistake. I thought that DDDD was getting a TV series adaptation, but instead they're releasing a second movie. Because I shared about the other 5 in the preview, I'll just share a few thoughts and move on to the other new shows I want to introduce. Kaiju No. 8 is the one to watch this season. It's really well animated, and I really like their use of style and color to set the scene. Kaiju, childhood promises, badass super soldiers, a big-hearted loser who gets a last chance to make a difference. What's not to like? It's my second most awaited adaptation of the year, after Dan this fall, and I'm glad they're doing it justice. My second choice is The Fable. Honestly, the animation is a little wonky, and the story is a little slow, but I think it gives it a bit of charm. A genius hitman ordered not to kill for a whole year and live life as normally as possible. Of course, things are gonna happen. The MC is a dork, and I like that. Next up is Viral Hit, or Kenka Dokugaku. I can't help but compare it to Solo Leveling, because they are both adaptations of Korean webtoons. Unlike Solo Leveling, the art is very faithful to the webtoon, which I appreciate, and they also preserve the humor intact. However, I wonder why they didn't record 2 versions, one using the Japanese names for the Japan release, and one using the Korean names for the international release. It reminds me of this old manga I read a long time ago, and I'll make a short about it. I'm glad they released Sandland as a series, with the first 6 episodes being what was last year's movie, covering the entirety of Toriyama Akira's short. The second 6 episodes are a new storyline that is pretty good, but you should definitely at least check out the first 6. Astro Note wasn't exactly a recommendation in my preview per se. I just thought that the trailer looked interesting, especially since I thought it would be boring. It's slower paced than the other ones I covered, but it's been pretty good so far, and I like that they're not afraid to overdo the emotional reactions of the characters. Okay, now the shows I didn't cover in the preview. The first I'm really liking is Train to the End of the World. A company launches a new 7G network, which is a disaster, ending up completely warping reality. For example, the residents of Agano have all been turned into animals, with the exception of the children, who will turn into animals once they turn 21 years and 3 months old. Shizuru, a young girl living in Agano, one day spots her long-lost friend with whom she had a falling out, Yoka, in a newspaper photo taken in Ikebukuro. She quits school, learns how to drive a train from Zenjiro, a mysterious old man who can only revert to his true form for 5 minutes a day when he wears his conductor cap, and heads out to Ikebukuro, accompanied by her 3 friends. Normally, a trip from Agano to Ikebukuro would take about an hour or 2. But in the post-7G incident reality, each stop takes a matter of days, and the incident has affected each area differently. The journey reminds me of Gulliver's Travels, where every stop they head to leads to its own harrowing interactions and problems. In Train to the End of the World, they meet people with mushrooms growing out of their heads, people who turned into goats, weird roots, golf balls, trees, Jesus statues,
そんなん聞くなよ。動けねえんだぞこっち。
and flying innards, and basically the Lilliputians in the latest episode. Next is Go-Go Loser Ranger. This is another one that uses the Power Rangers trope, with the MC being a monster. The Rangers are called the Divine Dragon Rangers, and 13 years prior to the story, they defeated the invading monster army, killing all of the monster leaders. All that are left are the underlings, who don't die if killed normally, and they are subjugated to put on a farce which highlights the Rangers' power weekly. One of the underlings, Fighter D, can't take it anymore and sets off to take out the Rangers on his own, even though as an underling, he's super weak. The animation is great, and I like the fact that he starts off weak and he doesn't suddenly become overpowered, instead having to use his wits to make things happen, at least so far. If you like sports anime, then I recommend Boukyaku Battery. It's a typical sports storyline where former stars, who for their own reasons decide to attend a high school with a sucky baseball team, whether it's trauma or failure or in this case amnesia, but eventually they find all these members to make a badass team. Next is Jellyfish Can't Swim in the Night. It's about 4 JK from different backgrounds who connect through various ways to form an artist group called Jelly. They're not necessarily social outcasts, but art in its various forms, illustration, singing, animation, and composition is what makes that connection strong. Last is the Spice and Wolf remake. I know that some would say that this is another unnecessary remake because the 2008 original still holds up well and frames certain things more effectively. I can't really say anything yet because I didn't really watch the original, but this remake is pretty good so far. If I have time to go back and rewatch the original and think a comparison deserves a video, I'll make one then. Okay, that's it for my week 3 review. Enjoy.